Waste disposal management in developed versus developing countries. As populations continue to increase, as well as economic growth, waste generation is gradually increasing. The type and extent of waste produced is linked to human activities, lifestyles, and degree of environmental awareness. Thus, waste management is considered to be a challenging issue for most countries, especially developing ones such as Lebanon. We are going to be focusing on the differences in waste management between developing and developed countries, specifically Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and Beirut, Lebanon, and the positive and negative impacts of such practices in regards to the environment and human health.
Based on the American University of Beirut's Guide to Municipal Solid Waste Management, Beirut was originally anticipated to receive 2 million tons over a span of 5 years. The landfill was part of an emergency plan to close the Burj Hammoud dump. However, governments actually prolonged its lifespan without appropriately implementing the Ministry of Environment's 2006 plan, which was later amended in 2010 for addressing the issue of finding a new landfilling site.
On July 17, 2015, the Nama landfill was shut down after accumulating 8 times its capacity in waste since being opened in 1998. Without a governmental waste management plan, trash began to overflow from the streets and riverbanks of Beirut and Mount Lebanon.
Due to the closure of the Namil landfill, waste was openly dumped on streets, under bridges, and in any open valley. Although this was the process for the majority of waste, very few areas had processes implemented to deal with waste, such as composting plants, anaerobic digesters, and other sanitary landfills as seen above. These open dumps were also being burned with no supervision or care.
Due to the accumulation of garbage in the landfill, residents resorted to open burning and dumping of their garbage. Open dumping and burning carry extremely high risks for contaminating natural resources with harmful and potentially toxic pollutants that increase the likelihood of nearby inhabitants contracting chronic and potentially lethal diseases and infections. Air contamination in these areas became more than 400 times worse than pollution in the country's industrial area, a study by the American University of Beirut. As waste burns, carcinogens in the air increase by at least 2,300%, and metals, including lead and arsenic, increase by 98 to 1,448%, a study by the American University of Beirut and the Lebanese National Council for Scientific Research.
Open burning must be banned altogether, and open dumps must be put to a stop and renewed as soon as possible, and monitored in order to avoid tragic health repercussions. Some consequences of open burning include the production of toxic fumes that may cause respiratory problems due to the release of substances such as greenhouse gases, asbestos, benzene, aromatic hydrocarbons, or dioxins into the air. It is crucial for the inhabitants of these garbage filled areas to practice extensive hygiene techniques that would otherwise not be carried out in a healthy environment, such as wearing face masks in order to avoid the entrance of very fine particulate matter into the airways, which may lead to severe respiratory effects in individuals with existing health conditions or even those without. Studies show that these face masks filter out 95% of airborne particles which are in the air due to the burning of waste.
A study following the waste crisis has shown a massive increase in cancer risk in waste burning sites, as the incremental risk of cancer for the toddlers in studied areas has increased from 1 toddler per million to 172 per million. This image shows a man driving through on his bike while covering his mouth due to the foul odor from the accumulation of garbage. Not only Lebanese doctors, but other medical professionals around the world are becoming increasingly alarmed by the health effects of garbage accumulation. Doctors at the emergency room in Beirut say that they are seeing a rise in severe respiratory diseases which relate to the trash disaster and an increase in swine flu, as well as admission rates at the ER jumping by upwards of 25%. Individuals who do not have pre-existing asthma or allergic symptoms are amongst the many people that are being exposed to pollution that wasn't there before. Cases of gastroenteritis had gone up 30% compared to 2014, the year before the garbage crisis, as well as symptoms such as diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain that go on for 3 to 4 weeks. These are pictures before the garbage crisis in downtown Beirut that I took while I was vacationing there. As you can see, there was no open dumping of waste, and the streets were very clean. The Edmonton Composting Facility, as discussed in lecture, is the largest composter in North America and has positive impacts on the environment, and due to open burning and dumping being avoided, in contrast to Beirut, Lebanon, has contributory impacts to human health.
Waste is manually sorted as well as biosolids from sewage plants are brought to the facility to make a compost end product usable by farmers and other consumers. This facility can process 200,000 tons of residential waste and 25,000 dry tons of biosolids each year.
Lakeland Waste Disposal is a waste management company operating out of Lac La Biche, Alberta, and surrounding areas including Conklin. They collect garbage along with cardboard and steel for recycling. Newer systems are much more efficient and clean, such as the EWMC, and companies like Lakeland Waste Disposal. All the garbage collected by Lakeland Waste Disposal goes to the Lac La Biche landfill, and all the recycling that is collected goes to the Edmonton Waste Management Center. It's up to us to implement proper waste management techniques, as well as to help other countries who are still struggling with methods of doing so. Hopefully, what Edmonton has done can prove to be the new and upcoming standard that other countries and municipalities will follow.
As Alice Walker once said, activism is the rent I pay for living on this planet.